What's up, YouTube? So today, a little bit different video. We're not doing anything specifically car audio related per se, but we're dealing with something that for you guys that work on your own cars and are doing customizations to your own cars are going to have to deal with at some point, is that the car itself has something that needs some attention. And so today we're going to be going over some troubleshooting and me finally figuring out why my car was malfunctioning. So the power steering wasn't working. At first it would like just kick out on me all of a sudden. Like I'd be turning, the power steering would be there. All of a sudden power steering would be gone. And it would like want to jerk the wheel out of my hand. And then eventually the power steering just went out completely. Wasn't there and never came back. And so I got the dummy light, the power steering dummy light up on the dash. Couldn't figure it out. And this car is so light that not having power steering wasn't that huge of a deal. Like I could crank the wheel and it wasn't a huge deal, but it's a relatively new car and not having power steering is a pain in the butt. So I decided to start trying to figure out what was going on. You'll see that I do a couple of different things in this video because I thought that it was one thing. Turns out it was another thing. The first thing I did was I reviewed the owner's manual and went into the fuse box. There's one under the hood and there's one under the dash. Went into the fuse box, excuse me, and tried to check any fuses that would correspond to the power steering. There is not one labeled, just power steering or whatever. I changed a couple for like different ECMs and stuff. Didn't make a difference, and none of them were blown anyway. So it wasn't just as simple as changing a fuse, which that would have been nice, but that wasn't the case. So anyway, if you guys are having similar issues or you just want to see how I figured this out, stay tuned. I think I'll have your answers in this video. So guys, here's the problem. Turn my key on. This guy right here. Right? Power steering, right? And I don't have any. Voltage. This truck's been sitting for a while. This car. Oh good, okay, 14.4. Alright, well anyway. This is an electric power steering module. I've never owned a car that had an electric power steering module. But this is what we have. I ordered this on eBay. That apparently is the steering column out of this car. I couldn't find a new one. I had to order a used one. This is the module and that is the motor, apparently. I don't know. So I'm gonna bust into that steering column and see if what I have looks like this. The ad on eBay said this should fit a 2018 Mitsubishi Mirage. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so let's see if we're on the right track here. So right now, I've pulled this dash panel. I pulled that bottom dash panel there, which is just held in place with, oh, where are they at? Come on. It's just held in place with these little bitty screws. Yeah, there you go. All right, they fit into these little fittings here. Then I pulled this. That's your airbag. Sits like right here, and it just bolts to your dash right there, and then two more on the other side. Boom, boom. So I got all that pulled down. Now let's see what this bad boy looks like. I don't even know what what we're expecting. Excuse me. I don't even know what to expect here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it looks like this piece is our module. Where's our motor? Should be a motor up in there somewhere. I don't know. Am I not looking at the right thing here? Oh, there it is. Right up there. See it? Anyway, I can't get my hand in here. There we go. Right there. Boom. Okay, so let's see if we can get those out and see what happens when we swap them with those eBay specials that we bought. Okay, guys, so pain in the butt update here. Sorry, it's hard to video under this dash. There we go. Okay, so there are, zoom out, there we go. There are two little screws that hold this on. Right, I already got one of them. And one of them, as you can see, is like right here. Right there. Well, you have to go through this drive shaft to even get to it. Or you have to have like a 90-degree triangle. Sorry, it's really dark in here. And it's already stripped out. Like somebody already stripped this out. So what I'm gonna do, there are two bolts that hold this bracket on. I'm just gonna pull this whole bracket off. This that holds this on there, this comes off. And then I'm just gonna pull the whole thing off and just go from there. There we go. You guys can see now. See, I took this whole piece off here. There was two bolts holding it on right there, right? Because this screw right here is very difficult to get to, and it's stripped out. Like it was stripped out before I even started messing with it. So somebody has already tried to get in there, but this is a lot easier, just to pull the whole bracket off, and then you can put this on the table and do whatever you need to do with it. All right, so this will give you a little bit better visual. Right, this just mounts, I don't know, it mounts on there somehow, right? Two bolts here. There's the new one, and then there's the old assembly right there. So it's easier to just pull this whole bracket off. It just makes your life so much easier. There you go. See, you just got these two bolts that hold this into place. So much easier than trying to fiddle with these two little screws in there. So, okay, there we go. All right, so there's that. Now I got this one ready to put back in the car. Okay, the next step, excuse me. There we go. Next step is to pull that motor right there. And as you can see, you got two 12mm bolts holding it on. And then that should be good. I don't even know if it's bad, but while I'm in here, I'm just going to change out. While I'm in here, I'm just going to change out the motor and the computer. Might as well. Okay, here's what that motor looks like pulled out of the car. This is the new one. I'm getting ready to put this in there, and I'm gonna see if I can get this on camera. This is very difficult to do with one hand here, but let's see. Okay, so as you can see, it goes right in there, right? And I know these hang on, let me resituate here. There we go. I know these wires face down, so I'm just gonna come up in here, stab that in there. Come on, baby. There. All right, well, I guess that's it. Now all I got to do is put these two bolts back in place. Those are 12 millimeter. I just used my socket, my deep socket for those. And then we'll put this computer module back in place. And hopefully that's it. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward. Got that motor back in place right here. Now we need to just pull these bolts. I put them back where they go so I don't lose them. And then put this, let's see, put this back into place. How does this go? There we go. Right, that goes right in there like that. Right? All right, well, I cannot do this with one hand, so I'm going to get all this back into place, then I'll bring you guys back. All right, well, as you can see, I have the computer and the motor mounted. So much easier than trying to fiddle with those two screws. Just remove the bracket entirely. All right, all we got to do now is just plug this thing back in. Okay, so this goes, I believe this goes here. This one. Wow, that was a mistake. Come on now. Okay. I'm not sure why that won't go in there. Okay, well, let me shut you guys off and I'll figure this out. Okay, guys, I figured it out. It doesn't want to fit in that plug because that's not where it goes. Although those plugs look like they're shaped the same. But this one goes here. This one goes here. Ah, yes. And then this one. See, that's why it's important. There you go. That's why it's important to take a reference. That way you don't do what I just did. Okay, that's all in the right order. Everything's all buttoned up. Oh, man, I about broke my back too. Okay. Let's see. Can I get to this without... There we go. Okay, got my foot on the clutch there. Let's see. Let's see if we can see if this will work. Freaking get some, guys. I fixed it. I finally got the power steering working in my car. As I showed you guys, I replaced the whole power steering unit, the motor and the electrical, the control module, whatever you want to call it, right here. Right here's the old one. See, zoom out a little bit. All right. See, there's the old motor. And here's the old computer. Swapped those out. Didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. Let's see, so where are we at here? Let me... yes, okay. So let me show you what was wrong and what I did to fix it. It was definitely an electrical problem. And I don't think it was my LTO bank. It's not because I was charging too high. Got rid of the LTO bank and here we are. Anyway, whatever, that doesn't really matter. I don't care about that. I got the headway bank now. This thing's running at a little bit lower voltage, which makes me feel a little more comfortable anyway. But if you remember, if you watch one of my other videos, when I belt this is a super cap bank, right? There's a bunch of super caps in this. But the factory battery and the battery post on these Mitsubishi Mirages comes with like a fused unit right here with like a whole mess of wires coming off of it. It's like a separate fuse box right on the battery terminal. Well, that sucks for base heads because you can't put like a... Where are we at? Like you can't put one of these on there, like just a regular bus link. You can't do that. So what I did was I just cut all those wires and used this. Right, you guys, I don't know if you watched the video, but I had this mounted to the side of the box and all of those fuse links were coming off of here now. Well, let me show you. Let me put this down for a minute. All right. This, I don't know if you guys can see that. That's loose in there. And that's as tight as that'll go. I noticed that. What I did was, I didn't know where to start. I changed out the whole power steering mechanism, the unit, and didn't fix anything. So I was just like, I don't really know what to do at this point. So I looked at my fuse box here. I looked at my fuse box in the dash. Nothing was blown. I was on YouTube, all the forums, trying to figure out, like, is there a relay in this car somewhere? Is there a fuse that I'm not thinking about? Like, guys, I spent like 2 weeks, probably close to a month actually, just trying to figure this out, scratching my head, just thinking like, what's causing this? couldn't find anything online. There really wasn't a fuse that was associated with it, and none of the fuses that I thought would be associated with the power steering were blown. They were fine, they weren't blown, so it's not that. So then I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna start pulling stuff apart and see what I find. So I came up here and I remembered that I had done this. I remembered there was a bunch of fuses on here and I didn't really know what they did, and they just run to this thing. So I don't know what made me do it, but I just thought, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna pull that apart and I'm gonna see what's going on. Well, lo and behold, that fuse is not making very good contact, and that bolt won't run down any tighter. So I must have installed it like that, all crappy like that, which shame on me for doing that. And I still don't know what that fuse does, but it must have something to do with the power steering. And a jiggly fuse kind of makes sense, because it would come on and then it would just cut out. It would come on and then it would cut out. So that makes sense that there was like a connection and then not a connection. So here's what I did instead. I took all of those wires and I just put an inline fuse on every single one of them. See, that's where they come from the factory. So I solder connected those and ran these inline fuses. That one's a little bit different. I just had all these already. So I just went into my toolbox. I knew I had some inline fuses, and I just ran inline fuses. You can see it's coming out of the factory harness there. And here's all that other mess of stuff that was on that factory post. And I just individually fused every single one of these. And now, all right, resting at 13.2, excellent. Check it out. Ha! No freaking dummy light, because I ain't no dummy. I mean, maybe a little bit, but, right? No dummy light, and look. The power steering works. So anyway, I don't know. I was this close to taking it to a shop, but I didn't really want to do that, because a lot of shops won't touch your car if you got all this BS going on back here. You know, they'll tell you, I don't know what you did with your batteries, but good luck, man. You got to take it to a custom shop to pull all that apart. So I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to figure out what was happening for myself, and I finally got it. It took me about a month. It took me about 2 months, actually, if you consider the time that I invested in changing and ordering the parts for the power steering. I was even this close to trying to change the PCM, but thought to myself, you know what? I'm not. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. Now we're talking about spending a lot of money, and what's a good rule of thumb to go by? You know, start with the easiest and the cheapest solution first. Well, this didn't cost me anything, because I already had all the materials, and it was just a loose fuse, and I didn't have to go buy another computer. I didn't have to do any of that. So anyway, you know, I'm very happy that I finally got this fixed. I hope this video just encourages you to just try to figure these things out on your own. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.